there. Spaß.
Hey everyone, my name's Maddie. I'm a 22-year-old competitive boulderer from Canada, currently living near Frankfurt, Germany. Welcome back to Maddie's COMPCLIMB training series, where I record my training here and there, do my best to describe every single training session, and just chat about climbing with an emphasis on competition. So as you know from our last few sessions, we are in Berlin right now. Today we're actually going back to Frankfurt from Berlin. So this morning session is, I think it's like 9 a.m. and I dragged Zach out of bed early, and we took a train over to Basement Boulderstudio again. I was actually going to try to get to a new gym again today, so that would be 3 different gyms for each day I trained, but the other gym I wanted to go to opened later, and then the other gym was too far. So this one was like nice in the center of Berlin. It was really close to the stations, like 15 minutes on like a tram. So it was just a better choice to go to. This session for me is on-sighting, repeats, and bouncy boulders. So unfortunately, I didn't have as much on-sighting to do as I hoped, but we still got a pretty good session in. I had a rest day yesterday, so this is my first time having a rest day after getting back off of rest month. So it was really cool, only like having one rest day in a row, like no double rest days or quadruple rest days anymore. I just got one, so it's interesting to manage your rest day differently. You don't have multiple coming up, so you got to make it count. So yeah, we got right back into it. I started with like an easier slab, and then I got on this one. I'm trying to avoid crimps a little bit at the moment. You can probably see I've got a little bit of tape on my fingers. I got 1 or 2 fingers taped on the left, 1 on the right. I've been going through like a little bit of like an overuse injury on my fingers. It's not super important. Like it's not stopping me from climbing or doing anything. It's just a little bit of a dull pain. And I got this right before the World Championships last season. So 3 months ago. And unfortunately it didn't go away after rest month because tendons love being used. So you can't just let them sit. And I haven't found a physio in Frankfurt yet. So I have booked one. It's becoming like more prevalent in my training, so I gotta deal with that. But anyway, we're here at Boulderstudio, and I had absolutely no energy for this session. Day 1 and 2 after rest month went really, really well, and then today, for a session of the day, early in the morning, was pretty bad. I wouldn't say it was terrible, but I definitely was feeling like not even like tired or weak. I was just fatigued. Like I couldn't climb very long. Like even on an attempt, I'd get pumped out and tired. And I really had to like take long rests between attempts. Like it was pretty evident that I have taken time off now at this point. Like I'm just not conditioned for climbing anymore. So that's going to take a little bit of time to get back, but it's like hitting me now. It's like things are coming in waves. Like at first you feel like your fingers are weak, and then you're not really moving well on the wall, and now it's like the physical, like my body is just not used to this sport anymore. So this was definitely a slap in the face kind of session, but I did my best and I was trying hard through it. And actually something very, very interesting I found is starting to be a theme of this new training cycle. In the last 2 or 3 days, I've obviously I just came off of rest month, so I don't really have many expectations. And any send is like a good send, like sending a 5, like a moderate climb at a gym usually is like a warm up. But at this point, I'm like, yeah, like I'm kind of psyched to be doing like even moderate climbs. Like anything is a win right now. And I think the moral of the story there is like that should always be the case. So I find that I'm climbing with basically nothing to lose. So I'm like going for moves, like maybe I don't feel like I'm in a good position, but I'll like throw myself at the wall anyway because, there's not like this crazy amount of pressure I have. I'm not expecting certain sends. I'm just like, giving my best to every boulder. And that's how training should always be. And I guess it took me taking a month off to finally like really get this drilled into my head that you really like, there is nothing to lose, like whether you're the comp or you're just training, you can just like go for moves and like not have to climb so carefully. I learned this for the first time at the Prague World Cup. After the Prague World Cup, I stayed with my coach's sister, and she's also a really high level climber. And she told me, like, I was like, yeah, I didn't get this boulder. It kept me out of semis. And I just feel like I wasn't trying hard enough. She says, what if you're trying too hard? And I was like, whoa, that's like, I've never thought about it like that. And it's like, yeah, like if you're trying too hard, like if you're really afraid of making mistakes, or like you're trying to find the good position, or you're waiting until your feet are good, like, and you're not going for the next move, or you're not like, going dynamically for something because you're trying to find a better way, like a more cautious way. That's just never gonna like get you. That's not how you win. That's how you play safely and make semis here and there, which is what I did all season. And then literally the next comp was the Brixen Italian World Cup, and I used this mindset like almost perfectly, and I had like the best round of my season in qualifiers, and I qualified in 5th for semifinals at that World Cup. And it was literally I started having nothing to lose. Like I was like, I'm just gonna, like, I don't feel like I'm in a good position. I'm just gonna go for the next move. And that was the whole theme of every single day I've climbed since I got back from rest month. It's just, I'm not in peak form, so I'm just gonna climb as well as I possibly can, and I'm gonna just throw myself at the wall and see what happens, and not worry about like having to flash something or whatever. And it's actually turning out way better than I have trained in the past. So. I'm really going to try to hold on to this as long as possible. Hopefully this is just always going to become the norm for me. And definitely in World Cups, I've got to keep this mindset up, because it's definitely a game changer. Just like climbing, absolutely nothing to lose, just giving it your all. And so you'll notice this is like a theme throughout the whole session. And I'll point out moments here and there where that's the case. But yeah, that's been like the major like kind of head game breakthrough I've had recently. And I've literally, I haven't even been like performing very well. I'm just like throwing myself at the wall. And yet I've got this like profound like head game, like I've really just leveled up my head game. So I'm really excited to bring this to training when I'm like really trying some hard boulders. So we'll see how that goes. So this boulder here, actually, this if you listen to my last comp climb, I talked about this idea, which is the one good thing idea. So I guess I'm kind of giving you two little head game tips here. So the other one I always do, and I've done this like throughout all my training, and I've done this for like years, but I always try to find one good thing that I've done in a session, just to keep it positive. And I like to try to find it as early as possible. Like as soon as I do one thing, like the bar is like really low for it too. Like it could be like a really good warm up climb. It could be like a single move, a single moment where I felt like I like turned it on and tried hard. This boulder was like, I think my first big moment of this. I just thought my beta was really good. Like I've been talking about this a lot, but I think my beta has really leveled up since I've been watching more World Cups, especially in my time off. Like really, when you just keep your mind active and just keep thinking about climbing and sequencing and all that, you really don't lose as much of the like movement on the wall as you would if you just didn't think or talk about climbing while you're taking time off. And it helps with rest weeks too. Like if you ever take a rest week and you're worried about like getting back into it, maybe you've got like a comp coming up and your rest week's kind of close to it, like just thinking and talking about climbing really does help and keeps your mind firing, and your body is just always going to be good to go. It's largely about your mind. And so yeah, I pay close attention to like how I'm thinking and how to make my mind work for me a little bit better and get me to climb way better than I have previously. Anyway, so right here we've got a repeat. So I did this climb last session, but because we're doing repeats today, and because I also don't have as much to on-site at this gym, I decided to do repeats. And repeats, Libor has in my program, you're supposed to do a climb, over and over again until you think you've done it perfectly. And the intent for this drill is to get you to approach a boulder for the first time as if you've done it, a million times already. So like it's getting you to be more confident and comfortable on the wall. And this is kind of playing along with the nothing to lose kind of mentality a little bit. Like nothing to lose is more about like for the, when you have to turn it on or you feel like you're in a bad position and you just go anyway. But this guy is about just like being confident on the wall always. And so this boulder was really long, so it ended up being actually kind of difficult to repeat. Like I did it quite easily last session, and then this time I'm just like fatiguing out. So I'm taking like breaks on the wall, which I never do. It's actually crazy. You'll see a lot of World Cup competitors these days like resting and chalking up on the wall, especially in the women's field. And I've never been one to do that. Bouldering is bouldering and lead is lead for me. And I'll rest when I'm lead climbing, which is very infrequently when I lead climb. But the bouldering definitely, it's coming in handy here and there, especially when I am lacking the endurance. I find that resting is actually being kind of helpful here, especially on a slabby climb like this where I can actually take a good rest. I'm definitely pro resting here and there, but I wouldn't default to it for sure. Anyway, this guy, I was falling all over it, but I did, I think, get a couple movements a little bit more clean. But I was just so tired, it was hard to actually like get everything going. And then I fall on the last one. I actually technically blamed Zach for that last move. He's like, oh yeah, I think you just jump up for it. It's like a jug. And I was like, okay. So I didn't actually think twice about it, and I just kind of casually went up for it, and it was like a sloper. So anyway, I can blame Zach for that, but in the end, of course, like I just didn't like try hard enough here. Anyway, so after that boulder, I went over to this guy, and this is a 7. This is the hardest that I've tried today. And I tried this a couple times last session, but I wanted to get back on this one because I was running out of slabs. To be honest, I sent all the slabs in this gym, so I wanted to do something that was a little bit less powerful, and this was like kind of the only option. But that said, this is a bit of a powerful slab, and these holds are really bad, so you really got to try hard on them. But this is the best example of the nothing to lose mindset right here. It might not be this attempt. Actually, I think it is this attempt. So I'm kind of pumping out a little bit, and it's a bad situation. I'm already kind of tired, and I've got this really bad left hand, and I'm like, oh, this is a bad position. But I throw my right hand on there anyway, and I actually stick it. And like, I'm not like, you can see I'm actually kind of psyched about that attempt. Like you don't really notice because I'm just on the wall, but that was actually a really like important attempt. And like the left hand, like I was not feeling good in my head. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fall here, but I put my right hand on it anyway because I was like, I have nothing to lose. I'm just gonna try to get my right hand on here because I have to keep moving up, right? So I might as well try to do like this is the move I was gonna try to do anyway. I was gonna try to put my right hand there, but my feet didn't feel good. The left hand was like kind of slipping a little bit, and I thought, you know what the heck? This is the move anyway. I'm just gonna do it, and it actually stuck. And because you have two hands, so it's a lot easier to hold on to a bad hold when you have two hands. And it's funny, after the attempt, I sat down and Zach was like, did you think you were going to fall? And, I just told you I thought I was going to fall, but that's actually not quite true. This new mindset, I'm like, when I'm on the wall and I feel bad, I'm like, I feel bad. I don't really think about like whether I'm going to fall or not. I just think the hold is bad. I have to do something. And so I was kind of like, Zach, I don't actually like the question. Like, the answer is just like none of the above. Like, I just wasn't. That's not the mindset. It's not like fall or not. It's climb. It's what's the next move. So yeah, like he actually pointed out. He's like, you should probably say that in the voiceover. So here I am repeating it for you. But yeah, I do it again actually on this attempt, so you can see it again in action. But yeah, it's like, it's the worst hold ever, and yet I'm able to move through it purely because I'm not worried about the fact that I'm in a bad position.
Nice.
And it's actually kind of like almost easy when you just go for it. And it's funny too, this next move, like this whole climb, like the rest, every move I do from here on out is just going for it. And you'll see it doesn't pay off when I just go for the finish hold with my right hand, wrong hand, and I didn't hold it. My hand was in the right position, but I even touched the finish hold. And this is 7, and I've been climbing for 2 days since rest month ended. So that was pretty good. And I can attribute 100% of the success of that attempt to the nothing to lose mindset. Anyway, so that was in Berlin, and we caught an 11:30 a.m. Train back to Frankfurt, and that's a 4-hour ride. And I didn't plan on training on a transportation day, but that's just how it ended up. I didn't actually think I was training this week at all, so we went to Berlin not knowing I was going to spend the whole week just climbing. But I think it worked out fine. The only issue is I hit this session pretty late in the day. I started at like 5 p.m., so I got a good rest between session 1 and 2, but it was kind of tiring and taxing, and I don't like finishing training late. I like to get everything done early in the morning. I like to like be done by dinner time, but I was home around like 7:38 today, and I'm filming this at like 9:30. So it was a bit of a long day, but I think all the sessions were really good. So session 2 was our mock comp. And right there was another nothing to lose mindset. I was like not in a good position. I decided to go for it anyway. Unfortunately, my foot slipped. But I do exactly that again, and I do stick at it for the second attempt. So in my program today is obviously the first session was the 90 minutes of on-sighting repeats and balance boulders. Session 2 is 3 boulders, 5 on 5 off. So obviously I have not been in Frankfurt climbing at all for the last month. So everything is new, which is amazing. So this gym is Boulderhaus, Darmstadt, which I've never climbed at before. But Zach and I toured around on a rest day, and Zach's climbed here a few times, but I have been resting, so I haven't. But it's a really cool gym. It's nice and homey. Kind of reminds me of some of the gyms in Canada. And what's interesting on this boulder is actually the wall is quite slippery. Like I said, I've never climbed here before, so I didn't notice until this boulder is actually, like, the beta is to use the wall, and it was kind of fun because the wall has no texture on it, so you're like slipping. And I had to like kind of put my hand like further back on the wall in order to get more pressure and get like kind of stuck in the corner, so to speak. And you'll see that on this attempt here. But yeah, it's a really, really interesting boulder. And we were chatting with the setter after this, and he confirmed the beta. So once again, I'm like, yeah, cool. Like whenever I get a confirmation of my beta, I'm like, that's super cool. Like any win, like any time I have correct beta, I'm like, yeah, that's solid. So you can see I'm like holding the wall here, but it's so hard to do it because it's just so slippery. And I'm just kind of relying on keeping a straight arm and being very, very careful. And I'm engaging so many muscles that I shouldn't. Like if this was if this had fresh texture on it, like I wouldn't have to try as hard as I do. But anyway, I'll point out one more instance. This will be the last one. One more instance of nothing to lose. So I'm trying to be careful here. You see I'm toe hooking, trying to get over my hand onto this like red chip. Can't quite reach it, so I lock off as much as I can. Then I do a big swing over. And the foot's kind of bad, so it was a little bit of a risky move. But right there is the last time I'll say nothing to lose. I was just like, I'm just gonna pop up for it. If my foot pops, I'm not even thinking about my foot popping. I'm just thinking about I gotta get over to this hold, so I'm just gonna swing my hand over. And then of course the boulder went right away. In terms of time management, I only put 2 attempts on this boulder, but you'll see there's only 57 seconds left. That's because I rested for a long time after attempt number 1, because I was very confident I could do it again. And when you're confident you can do a boulder again, you want to use as much time to rest for that attempt so that you don't accidentally slip and you use more attempts than you have to. So that's like my classic. Like if I ever like fall on the finish hold of a boulder, I'll wait it down to the wire. Like I'll wait until there's like a minute left, maybe like a minute and a half just for safety. And then I'll go on again, and like 9 times out of 10, I'll send the boulder because I know what I can do. And I you have that feeling like you're going to send it next attempt. So I always say like you want more rest to give the best possible attempts. Boulder 2, though, was a little bit of a difficult boulder. It's a bit of a cryptic boulder as well. I'm going to have to come back and try this one again, but I could not do the first move. You'll see I'm trying to kind of stand and like balance on the right foot and just kind of, it's like a slab, but I couldn't quite, I can't hold, I'm not, it's a very hard move. And I think in the end that beta does not go. What you're supposed to do is kind of jump off of the left foot and land with your right foot on that black volume, and then just kind of stand or maybe hold the undercling of the yellow volume a little bit. I couldn't do it, and I actually tried it like in between this boulder and the third boulder, and I tried it after the whole round, and it just didn't go. So I'm gonna have to come back to this one. But I noticed my legs are definitely a little bit tired, or they're a little bit weak from rest month, and I haven't done any legs at all. So my legs are just completely like useless twigs right now. So I'll have to come back to this one when I'm a bit more conditioned. But this is a really cool move, and it's very in vogue these days with comps. So I'm really glad it's up, and this will be up for a month. So I'll definitely get on it, and I'm sure you'll see Zach crushing this one too, especially now he knows the beta, of course. But I think he also sequenced this beta, so that's we don't have to blame him for like watching my beta. Yeah, so this one was a little bit demoralizing. I'm not gonna lie. I don't usually like throw this many attempts on the boulder, even if I'm falling off of a start move. I don't usually put. I think I put like maybe 10 attempts on this, maybe 11. It was just like it wasn't using much energy, and I like obviously it's a mock comp, but it's also like very far away from comps for me, and it's a training day, right? I'm not actually competing against anyone, so I was just trying to like figure it out because I knew I would have to move on to the next boulder after this. So I thought, I'll just try to actually just get this, and I ended up not getting it, but I think I learned a little bit about what doesn't work. Actually, I learned a lot about what doesn't work. Um, and I started messing up a little bit, and it was rushing. Like it was just not the best of my day, and I'm usually pretty good at slab, but this one was just like beyond me. Especially with the bait I was trying, like it just wasn't going. It felt really close, which is like the danger zone. But anyway, Boulder 3 really really solid. This guy is like it's super slopey. Is kind of the only difficult part about this is that the holes are just kind of bad. And I know I said I wouldn't say it again, but this is the final example of nothing to lose. I was just like, my hands aren't good. Like these slopers are like slipping. The longer I stay on them, I'm just gonna go. You'll see, I just waste no time, right into the double clutch, throw my feet up. Like I think I send this like in 30 seconds or something. Foot up, bad position, but I'm gonna go anyway. Go, finish, holds kind of bad still. I'm just gonna match it. Like it was just like go go go. So I was really sick with that. And then of course after I got back on the black to try to do that, and I couldn't do it. Yeah, so overall it was a pretty successful day. It was really long. It was I trained in 2 different cities, 2 major cities in Germany, which is really cool. I'm hoping we can go back to Berlin again. Zach didn't climb, and he saw like a really good spray wall that he wants to get on, so I think it's a weird reason to want to go back to Berlin just because of a spray wall, but I think it's like he says like 50% because of the spray wall. So we'll see if he finds things that are more interesting there. I thought the gyms were really good in Berlin, so I definitely want to go back to Berta Block and Basement Studio, all the gyms that we went to, and the gyms that we didn't get to go to. There's also some sightseeing stuff that I didn't get to do because I was just training the whole time. There's also a restaurant that we went to. It's like a nice like cafe, like a breakfast restaurant. So we'll try to hit up some stuff and maybe explore a little bit more of Berlin next time we go. But I'm really psyched to be back in Frankfurt and training. I've got a really long stint of training left before Nationals. So Nationals is November 23rd. So we've got all of October and most of November to train. And I only have one comp. I've got the Mannheim comp. I think it's like October 21st or something like that. And then I've got one in Brussels, which is right before Nationals. But otherwise, I've just got a sustained period of training. So I'll be doing a lot of studio block, Mannheim, Darmstadt. So if you're definitely in the area, you'll see a lot of the boulders that are up being sent or hopefully just projected on our COMPCLIMB. And I'm going to be trying to do COMPCLIMB about 2 times a week. It might be 2 to 3, but whenever Zach has a rest day, you'll see one of my videos. So you can look forward to more Maddie COMPCLIMB as I recover from rest month and get my fingers taken care of, and then finally get some more sending going. And definitely you'll see me back on this boulder because I just have to do it. Like this is a move that I definitely am gonna start seeing more often. Just like jumping around on slab like this. Like it's not about slow crimps on slab anymore. It's about like being creative on slab. So tune in for that.